Leeds Beckett, the unexpected.
Bottom of the league at Christmas, finished in the top four.
Northumbria, the valiant.
Finding a Fantini on a line against the grainy.
And Swansea, the newcomers. 18 rounds of fixtures, one unpredictable season. Welcome to BUCS Super Rugby. Expect the unexpected.
After what seems like an eternity, we return to Kincoid campus to get 2020 off with a bang. Cardiff Met this evening hosting Northumbria University. So without further ado, I will welcome Northumbria's club captain, Matt Solway. Not seen you for a long time, mate. At the start of the season, we knew there'd be a lot of changes for the club. Big layoff over Christmas, but before that, it just seemed like you started to turn a corner and get a few good results on the board.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shaky start to the season, but we were quite a young team. We had some more senior players coming back in. Obviously, that helped a lot for the younger players to kind of show them how to be. It's definitely helped a lot.
Well, you're missing, unfortunately, this evening, but there are some senior players, as you say, Yari Fantini in the back row. Is it time those boys really sort of drag those players through? And it is a real lesson coming to Kincoid here, isn't it? They'll learn a lot tonight.
Yeah, definitely. They've got a lot of experience playing tonight. We've got Yari Fantini, George Williams, Toby, who should hopefully, again, show those younger players how to play out here. We know Cardiff Met like to play a rough game.
Oh, he said rough game. He's called them out. Don't worry, the referee's not listening. In terms of yourself, then, you're all smiles at the moment. You've been missing from the field of play. Are you itching to get back to it?
Yeah, looking forward to. I picked up a bit of a head injury against Durham University at the start of the season.
Well, you're in your shorts though. You've been out there warming up today. You're in. Let's make no bones about it. You are in a relegation battle. How is that with the boys, and how are you going about the games sort of week in, week out now?
Yeah, we're trying to pick up points where we can. Obviously, we know Cardiff University are 2 points ahead of us. Hopefully, in the next few games, we'll pick up some more points and hopefully overtake them. We've looked at Cardiff University's games. They've got kind of a harder run. So hopefully, with some key players back playing, we can pick up the points where we can.
Well, you've got a big role to play tonight as the club captain, despite the fact that you're not on the pitch. Great to have a chat. We'll catch up after the game.
Worries.
It is round 13 of BUCS Super Rugby. Cardiff Met versus Northumbria.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard. Fort Minor, M. Shinoda, styles of beyond. Ryu, Talk Beer.
I'm Gavin and welcome to Kincoid. Cardiff Met are looking for their 4th win on the bounce, while Northumbria are hoping for their 3rd win of the season. Matt Mash captains a very strong Archer side, with Met's Corey Lewis, the top try scorer of the team, starting at hooker. Barney Leighton-Cryer comes in for the injured Ed Scragg. The back row is full of experience, with Will Gibson and of course Aled Ward tacking down at 8. Johnston Ivancevic starting the centres, and Andrew Nurse, Max Cunnington and Brad Denty complete the back 3. Looking forward for this one, and I think Dave's joined me in the commentary. And how's it going, Dave?
Yes, mate, I've climbed through everyone. Really good to chat to Matty Solway before the game. Northumbria struggling a little bit with injuries. Some try scorers, Harry Boyd, Josh Rudling, Jasper Maguire and Johnny Ashman all missing. They've scored 10 tries between them, but it is a strong start in 15. They've changed the centres. Lucas Titherington is coming in at 12 with Ned Newman at 13 as Johnny Ashman was ruled out just yesterday. Yari Fantini in the back row with the number 7 on his jersey will have a huge impact in this game. He is a BUCS Super Rugby legend. Could easily come away with a couple of tries and a number of turnovers if Northumbria are going to get anything from this game. But with Josh Hodge out. Josh Hodge getting the call up for England. We've got Bragman going well in the Championship. It's proof that the Northumbria pathway is working. Can this new batch of players get something away from King Coyd this evening? It is a big ask. Interestingly, this is the 7th time these two teams have met in the BUCS Super Rugby era. Northumbria have never won at King Coyd, but Cardiff Met have never won at Kingston Park either. It's a game that produces a lot of points. It averages over 60 over those 6 games as well. But looking at the league table, the Archers are in scintillating form. Just the 1 defeat at home. This is looking like it could be a tough evening for Northumbria tonight.
It does, yeah. Met have only lost 1 game here this season, and well, Northumbria have only won 2 throughout the season, so it's going to be a tough ask for them. The refs have made it onto the pitch. We're still waiting for both sides to come out, but it's going to be hopefully a try-fest.
Andrew Moore, the man in charge this evening. Speaking of Tri-Fest, we have had a couple of games in BUCS Super Rugby already. Exeter continuing their fantastic form. They defeated Swansea 47 points to 17. They stay in the top 3. They'll be welcome here at King Coyd next week. Get it in your diaries because you're covering that one as well, Dav.
Yes, we are. The live streams are back next week at Exeter in town, and it's 3rd v 4th, I think, next week as it stands in the league table, and it's going to be a big clash here.
And interestingly, Hartpury have picked up some form as well. Leeds Beckett were top at Christmas, top of the league for the first time in the BUCS Super Rugby era. But Hartpury went up north today and came away with a very impressive 24 points to 11 victory. They were 17-11 up as with about 5 minutes to go. Picked up a yellow card and still managed to get that try to secure the game and take the bonus point away from Beckett as well. So Beckett still top of the league. Cardiff Met in 4th, Northumbria in 10th, and it's that top 4. Well, that's the vital thing, really, isn't it? The first 8 of the 10 go through to the playoffs, but if you get yourself 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, you get that home draw in the quarterfinals, and that's massive.
It is, yeah, and hopefully Met will be targeting that home quarter. I think they've got Swansea away, Cardiff again in the Arms Park. They've got Northumbria home, well, tonight, and then away again. So looking good with their track record to pick up some points between now and the end of the season.
Matty Solway mentioned it, the Northumbria captain. It was a lovely surprise to speak to him beforehand, actually. We weren't expecting to, but he just sort of popped his head up about 30 seconds before we went live, so thought it'd be a great chance to speak to him. But they're looking at the fixture list at that part of the table as well. You've got those 3 teams down there. They've all lost 10 and won 2. Northumbria, Cardiff University and Bath. And particularly with Cardiff University's start to the season, where they beat Hartpury, they'd have wanted to be higher up the table, but Northumbria now all in black with the white trim, the first team out. It doesn't seem that long ago where they were challenging for the major honours, but big changes at the top of the club with Daz Fern, after so many years as director of rugby, moving to pastures new. John Benson's come in, and it becomes pretty obvious that experience in BUCS Super Rugby is everything. You look at the top of the table, you've got the likes of Durham and Leeds Beckett with similar 15s to last year, really able to get some consistency and push on. It's a very different story for Northumbria, but Cardiff Met with players in the squad who were involved when they reached the final. Harry Johnston playing at 12 today, he was the outside half. Aled Ward, the ever-present engine at number 8, still major players in this Archers 15. And they get that welcome we've become accustomed to as the Ultras make their way up the touchline to take their place on the pitch here.
Yeah, Aled Ward, as you mentioned there, he was involved in the final at Twickenham 2 years ago. As you mentioned, Johnson as well. They've gone through a few seasons here at King Coyd, and they know what to expect here on Wednesday nights, and they'll be looking for maybe 5 points actually tonight, not just the win.
Well, Robbie Forbes will get us underway. Andrew Moole is the man in the middle. Well, the last time I was here was in that bitter rain against Leeds Beckett, and Aled Ward was as good as I'd seen in that night. He had an exceptional 80 minutes. So Northumbria attacking the try line to your right. A very warm welcome to all of you wherever you're watching, whether it's live on the BUCS YouTube channel, on the RFU or the WRU social media, as Cardiff Met gather the first kickoff here in BUCS Super Rugby round 13. It's almost like a stampede towards the stands as well. The fans formed the guard of honour, so we have the first clearance kick. Good contact on that as well. Up over the 10-metre line. Here's a first touch for Forbes, returns that with interest. A little bit tentative from Nurse, puts the left foot to it with no full back at home, so Oscar Yandel has to chase back. Oh, and that's going to hold up nicely. Perfect weight on the kick. And that's Brad Denty towards the 22, seeks contact.
That was a brilliant kick by Nurse there, perfectly weighted, just in front of the posts.
And speaking of the posts, are we going to have our first shot at them? Russell Bennett. 28 points this season for Bennett, but no real statement of intent for the Archers. 3 points on offer. Instead, they've gone for the corner. And I think they smell blood early.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a great start. Brilliant kick there from Andrew Nurse. Placed it brilliantly just in front of the posts. But brilliant conditions. This is probably the best conditions I've seen the whole season at Kincoid.
Yeah, cold tonight, but it's bone dry. And Corey Lewis, well, the first opportunity's gone. Ball hasn't gone forward though, so it's not knock-on advantage. Instead, Northumbria with the chance to clear, which they do. Good kick takes them up to halfway, and Northumbria survive the first jaunt into their 22. Well, Cardiff Met obviously feel as though there are tries in this game, and speaking to Northumbria beforehand, I think they're going to start approaching games differently, realising that you're not going to win every week, but if you can pick up bonus points every week, then that's going to help you stay up. That's where they've been struggling at the moment.
Definitely, if you pick a certain amount of bonus points, you can creep up the table nicely, especially because it's so tight down there. A few extra points would make a big difference with who you're playing in those playoffs at the end of the season.
Up over the 10-metre line then for Cardiff Met, sending the big men forward. Opening up some space now on the left-hand side if they want it. Instead, they keep it tight. Barney Langton Cryer actually gets it out of the back door. There's numbers here, but instead they keep it central when it could have gone. Aled Ward loitering with intent. And they miss Ward this time, and Russell Bennett has a dart, and the pass just behind Max Cunnington on the left wing. And that is another chance gone. But the advantage was coming. And this time we will go for the sticks. Easy one for Harry Johnston. 90 points already this season. Currently 5th in the standings, and he might be looking to break that century tonight.
Yeah, he could. 10 more points, and that's a big century. But Northumbria defending really tight. There's always gaps around the sides, around the back there. They're looking sharp if they get that pass back behind the second line of attack. Russell Bennett and then Harry Johnston as well. They should have got the ball away there, and that was 2 easy tries they've left out there.
3.5 minutes gone. Northumbria yet to have any possession inside the Cardiff Met half. And Harry Johnston with the chance to break the deadlock. $93 points for the season for Cardiff Met's number 12, and the Archers lead Northumbria by 3 points to 0. A little nerve settler there for Cardiff Met, because that's 2 try-scoring opportunities. And I think if they'd have left them both out there and not had any points on the board, well, the last thing you want to be is wasteful.
Yeah, they'll be happy to get the first points on the board just to settle the nerves, get something on the board to show for their efforts. 5 minutes gone. They'll be looking for 4 tries tonight, I feel. The conditions are perfect, and they're looking to run it, I think.
Well, that's gone forward off the Matt Marsh box kick, and Cardiff Met but booked a ball. Beautifully weighted kick. Oh, not quite into the breadbasket of Cunnington. Robbie Forbes spoils that, but then knocks it on. They've had some success with that crossfield this year. Brad Denty has been on the end of it a couple of times. Cunnington the target this time.
It's just perfectly weighted every single time from Russell Bennett. He just finds that perfect angle as well for the winger just to run onto it. But it's well defended there by the fullback. He couldn't do much about it, but he stopped that from Andrew Nurse running into the corner.
Well, I think the scrum's going to be very interesting this evening. Cardiff Met very settled in the front row and the back row. Harry Dobbs, Corey Lewis and Will Hurd. George Williams, Joe Lashley and Billy Nichols, the men opposite, experienced themselves. Williams, Northumberland senior county player. Joe Lashley's been involved with the Falcons in the Prem Shield, and Billy Nichols has played county rugby for Yorkshire as well, which is no mean feat. Tom Pearson in the second row for Cardiff Met's been very strong this season too.
He hasn't missed much games, Tom. But his partner in crime, Ed Scraggs, is out, I think, for long-term injury. So step in. Barney L. Cryer comes in. Leighton Cryer comes in.
Six minutes gone then. Round 13 of BUCS Super Rugby. Cardiff Met looking for their fourth victory in a row, both in this competition and against Northumbria at home, as they get the squeeze on. It's come out of the back, so Matt Marsh has to find Bennett, who switches it this time. Oh, right into the breadbasket of Brad Denty. Lovely feet from Denty. Big shot over there as well. Danny Milton likes what he sees, taking the position in his executive box early on.
Yeah, that was a brilliant, another perfectly weighted cross kick. But well defended there by Northumbria. I just call them defending quite tight, but they were well balanced there, closing down the pressure nicely on that far wing.
They'll not want to spend too much longer in their own 22 though. They've been on the end of a few quite hefty scores already this season. And looking at some of the previous results in this match as well. Way back in 2016, Cardiff Met put 58 on them here at King Coyd, 44-29. In fact, the fewest points this match has ever produced in the BUCS Super Rugby era is 43. It usually delivers in terms of the highlights reel.
It's 3-0 at the moment, another 40 points to keep that record as it is.
Well, the Northumbria scrum is in all kinds of trouble at the moment, and Mike Hoy at number 8 tries to clear up as the ball squirts loose, but Andrew Moore, the referee, happy enough that it's gone backwards. Harry Laidler waits and boxes. Brad Denty lets that one bounce, and Northumbria outside their own 22. Rhys Roberts looking up at the sky there. I don't think he can quite believe that it isn't raining.
No, yeah, it always rains on Wednesday night here, even if it's sunny throughout the day. We've had some torrential conditions up here, especially in the last round when Bath were in town. That was horrible.
And scrappy from the lineup, but still comes Met's way. Footwork from Russell Bennett, gets through the first tackle. Yari Fantini making the tackle for Northumbria right on the 22. Here come Cardiff Met again. Hands from Corey Lewis, trying to put the man through the gap. There's Ivan Izovic in the scrum cap. Pass just behind there from Bennett, so they put the brakes on. Still tiptoeing around the 22, Cardiff Met. Before it's knocked on there by Will Hurd, stopping the momentum. But it'll be another scrum Northumbria put in. But I'm not sure the Archers will be too disappointed with that outcome.
No, it's good pressure. They've been packed up in the opposition half for the first 10 minutes of this game now. But Northumbria will be looking to clear and get some territory of their own. Yes, they have been defensively quite solid. They haven't. There's a few line breaks, but nothing too worrying about. But they'll be wanting some ball now. 10 minutes into the game, get their hands warm and hope to get some points back.
Well, despite the fact that they're separated in the league by 6 places and 6 wins essentially, Northumbria haven't scored a lot less tries than Cardiff Met in these opening 12 rounds. Met with 34 tries, Northumbria with 32. Became famous or infamous depending on which team you supported a couple of years ago, and they very nearly won the league, the BUCS Super Rugby League. just scoring tries from all over the pitch. Of course, such is the nature of university rugby. The teams are in perpetual motion and players move on. We've already mentioned it once, but Josh Hodge of Newcastle Falcons getting called into the England squad. Bragman doing incredibly well. Ollie Robinson, the number 8, making his debut for Ealing in the Championship. You could really do with a couple of those boys in this side as Cardiff Met win the penalty from the scrum again, and another bread and butter 3 points here for Harry Johnson should he require. And he's going to go for the poles again. And if they keep giving away those penalties at scrum time, he could reach 100 points sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. My money's on him crossing the line tonight, but Met will be looking for tries more than the penalties. Yes, they're building up a nice tally here in the first minutes of this game, but they will be worried about Exeter winning today. Thinking about that game next week, but they need to focus on now, I guess, and get that win in the bank first.
The flag's up and the scoreboard continues to tick over then. 2 penalties from 2 attempts for Harry Johnston. Cardiff Met 6, Northumbria 0. And Northumbria, well, being strangled out of the game at the moment. They've not been in Cardiff Met's half. They've not had their hands on the ball, and that's not the cleanest of restarts. And another chance for Cardiff Met to build.
Yeah, that was a poor restart. Fly would have wanted some height and that, just to get some possession in Cardiff Met's half, but Matt Marshall clear here and put some pressure on the winger.
Well, here comes the chase, and there are Archer's numbers forwards here. It's allowed to bounce, and that's a lovely pickup. And now the chance for Northumbria. Good cover tackle there made by Barney Langton Cryer. And now the first chance for Northumbria inside the Cardiff Met half. Yendall with the step. Hands on that for Cardiff Met. They think they've got the turnover, and they have. It's Tom Pearson, the second rower, in there as the ball spills out. And that Northumbria attack snuffed out before it has chance to grow. Russell Bennett, that's half charged down, but goes back Met's way. All the 50-50s go in the home team's way. In these opening 15 minutes or so, this BUCS Super Rugby match. Now Ivanisevic, lovely offload from him. Good open up on the left-hand side. Bit of space here for Cunnington to run into. Cover tackle from Titherington. And a good cover tackle as well. A try saver there from Lucas Titherington. Keeps Northumbria in the match in these opening 14 minutes.
Yeah, Tom Pearson did brilliantly there, getting over the ball, strong position, very low, but then involved in this link play here. He took the man out, and the pass was perfect then to Andrew Nurse to release, Will Gibson, sorry, to release the winger. But no, brilliant all-round play there from Tom Pearson. Solid 2-minute passenger play there from him.
Well, no more than 45 seconds ago, it looked like it might open up for Oscar Yandel and allow Northumbria to get some territory, but brilliant work from the big lock forward. So Harry Laidler, former Sedbergh School, Hong Kong under-20 international, will want to get this ball in and out as quickly as possible because Northumbria are having a terrible time in the set scrum. Yeah. But this seems to be an area where Cardiff Met have really turned the corner. It was the scrum against Leeds Beckett that was the difference between the two teams. Beckett had been destroying teams, and Met ended up forcing a penalty try just before half-time, which was the moment the game turned. And at this level, it can make an enormous difference. It's a confidence thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The pack is so well balanced as well. When you look at that back row with Heathman, Ward, and then Will Gibson, and it's just perfectly balanced, very mobile pack as well, but also scrummaging fantastically. A lot of pressure on the tender over.
Well, that's one against the head now. What can the Archers do with it? Here's Bingo Ivanisevic. Takes the man on this time. Turn of pace from Ivanisevic. Is that a high tackle? He scored anyway. Bingo Ivanisevic hits the afterburners, and it's Cardiff Met 11, Northumbria 0.
Yeah, you can see the front row here high-fiving each other. They know deep down that was from them. They turned that ball over. I know Bingo did fantastically to finish off there, about 40 metres out, but that was down to Corey Lewis, Harry Dobbs and Will Hurd in the front row.
Well, you win the scrum against the head, and it's down to the backs to capitalise, which they did. That was a full team effort. What a finish from Bingo Ivanisevic, though. He took the high tackle as well. I wasn't sure if we were going to see the referee run under the sticks, but he did well to get over the whitewash. And he's really almost bullied his way into the team, Bingo Ivanisevic, hasn't he? He wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year, but has really shown Gardner and Milton what he's all about. And that's a game breaker.
Definitely, that was a great finish there, and that'll help him out in selection in the next few weeks as well.
Johnston with a chance to add the extras. A little bit more difficult this time. Hooking it in off the right boot. And misses his first one of the night. Cardiff Met 11, Northumbria 0. And they're going to need to find a way to get territory, otherwise this is going to be a very difficult evening. It's a heck of a drive, best part of 350 miles down. They travelled this morning because the Northumbria women's team played the Cardiff Met women's team at Cardiff Arms Park earlier on, so they had to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning to get down for that one. And it's a long old day.
Yeah, they'll be tired after that journey as well. It's a slog, and waiting around probably when the women's are playing. I'm not sure if they called that game or not, but waiting around as well and just itching to get warmed up and start to play. So they'll be able to get foot all in this game now and start to play.
First penalty of the match for Northumbria. 17.5 minutes on our clock. Just a reminder that our clock's fairly accurate, but it's not linked in with the referee's watch. So if your team is winning when the clock goes red, don't get too excited, because there might be a little bit of meat left on the bone. But good clearance kick. First opportunity now for Northumbria from the set piece. Our first look at Joe Lashley's dance in this match, bang in between the 10 metre and the 22. And it's nice to turn our necks right for a change.
Yeah, it is. It's been quite heavily down the Northumbria half. So they've gone into 22 with that carry.
And it was an overthrow, and Callum Burke there in the scrum cap takes the carry. Doesn't get over the gain line, but it has come back Northumbria's way. Just trying to hit that line off Harry Laidler. Doesn't quite work. There's Robbie Forbes going to the left-hand side. Better quick ball here from Northumbria into the 22.
That's unlucky. I think he ran into his own man there. It's quite unlucky. They're starting to build up there quite nicely, Northumbria, but silly errors there, costing them a penalty. Met will be back down in their half now.
When you do get those opportunities, the composure's the key. And when the game's not going your way, sometimes it feels like you need to make every chance stick. Cardiff Met can clear the lines with this 11-0 lead. 2 penalties from Harry Johnston and an unconverted try via Bingo Ivanisevic. Did really well with that finish too, didn't he? Just fixed the Northumbria defender, knew he had the option outside him.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. I think he held him off with one hand there, dragging him over the line. I'd like to see the high tackle again, though. Oh, potential high tackle. I know it wasn't official, but it looked quite high over the neck. I'm not sure we'll see a replay of that half time or not, but the try was scored regardless. So yeah, 11-0 Cardiff Met.
Approaching the halfway point of this one. It's another match on this evening. Loughborough entertaining Bath. Neither team really hitting their straps with regards to the line-out, but Aled Ward, what a take that is as the ball was thrust towards his gut, and Russell Bennett sends Chidira Arbona backwards. Here's Oscar Yandel. He puts boot to ball. It's a good clearance kick. Takes them up to halfway. Yeah, but Aled Ward just took that one on the full there.
Did he cash up with his belly button? It looked like it. Straight in the gut.
And the line out again on the far side. Joe Lashley, the Northumbria hooker, hasn't had the misfortune of having to take a line out in front of these very vocal Cardiff Met supporters.
Yeah, I think Northumbria have been the first side this season to plant themselves in the dugout in front of the Archers. I think most of them choose the other side just for comfort probably, or less haggling.
Mainly so they can hear themselves think, I'd have thought. Harry Sutherland coming on at hooker. We're in number 16.
Yeah, Corey Lewis is walking over for the touch line with his arm slinged in his shirt, and he's not sure if that's worrying. He's on his own actually, so I think he's okay.
Yeah, it's his right arm. So a bit of discomfort, but straight away that's better line-out ball. Tom Pearson takes it. And here comes the drive. They make 4 or 5 metres and then go up the blind side. Oh, there's a chance here now for Denty for the corner. It's the second try for Cardiff Met. Saw the gap up the blind side. The drive from the line out started to go forward. Quick thinking from Matt Marsh to open up Northumbria. And that's the second try, and 16-0. It's a long way back for the visitors.
It is. What a great try as well. I thought Matt Marsh, the skipper, leading by example. They're running his line, wasn't obstructing. He's allowed to hold his line. He didn't change lines at all, but just stopping that Northumbria defender making that tackle, completing that tap tackle or obstructing Brad Denty. But Matt Marsh playing very, very, very clever running lines there.
You know when he kicks this, the line following the kick, the ball leaving it where it's supposed.
Again, it's an outside back who's got the touchdown, but it all came from the work of the forwards. And sometimes you can get so committed to trying to defend that drive that you just leave that gap. In fact, I watched half an hour of Bristol first versus Cardiff Met seconds earlier, and Bristol did exactly the same thing to Met in that game.
You got your gloves on.
Successful conversion this time from Johnston. Very similar position to the one that he missed earlier. And that's 8 points for him and 18 for Cardiff Met.
Comfortable now. I think any penalties will go to touch. They'll be looking for another 2 tries just to complete that 5-point win they're targeting. 18 points is quite comfortable. They'll be looking for line-outs now.
Well, I know there's a long time to go in this match, and we've seen BUCS Super Rugby games turned on their head, but it's difficult to see a way back into this for Northumbria.
It is difficult to see where they're going to have their points of attack from. They haven't had much of the ball to start off with, but when they did have a chance, they looked quite flat, and they were looking for 50-50 bounces and luck to get them back into this one now.
There's Callum Burke in the head guard. Second carry for him.
Oh,
That's been turned over again. Gibson, hits the afterburners himself. Sidesteps one, runs straight through another and gets the offload away. Cardiff Met pouring forward and Northumbria struggling to cope. Now acres of space out here. Harry Johnston finds Nurse, steps around Yandel, gets over the line. Has he grounded it? Not this time. Well, a cover tackle there from Yandel with company.
That pass had to go there from Bingo. He was, I think, was it Brad Denty? No, it was Max Cunnington on this side. He had plenty of space to just catch the ball and put the ball down, but I think he's got one. He wanted a second one tonight.
But it will be Cardiff Met's put in at the scrum, with the full width of the pitch to work with, and the chance to put Bingo Ivanisevic in a very similar position to the one where he scored his first try. And it does come this time. Referee Andrew Moole not happy with how that one was set. And looking at the way they're set up, it's only Harry Laidler defending the blind side. I wonder if Aled Ward might have a little dart into the left corner.
I think they might just keep it in and push over. Yeah, Aled Ward might be just...
Now it does start to creak. Watch out for Ward. Good footwork from the number 8, a third try for Cardiff Met. And it's another one forged in the forwards. Archers 23, Northumbria 0.
Yeah, it's looking inevitable now that they'll get another one, maybe before the half, maybe before full time. But that was another very, very strong scrum there by the Archers. It's a good weapon for them to use for the rest of the season. Very, very dominant in the forwards area. And if he gets this, I think he crosses the 100.
That will be 100 for the season.
Yeah.
Harry Bazalgette of Exeter, the top scorer in the competition overall. He got another hatful against Swansea today. I think he's going to take some catching. He's having a very good season down there, and they're incredibly entertaining, Exeter. I think that could be a cracker next week. So if you are watching this evening and tuning into BUCS Super Rugby for the first time, then clear your diary, because that is one not to be missed. Two teams probably with an eye on maybe going all the way this year. As that is drawn in beautifully. What a way to bring up 100 points for the season for Harry Johnston. 2 penalties and 2 out of 3 conversions. And Cardiff Met absolutely flying. Got to think as well, because of the way they balance the teams across the championship in BUCS Super Rugby. Has that gone 10 metres? He's given the knock on, is he? This is a very well rested team for Cardiff Met as well.
Yeah, they switched the teams around, so all the boys that are involved in the champs and the BUCS Super Rugby play 1 game a week, or if that's a half for both games, it is what it is. But yeah, the boys are fresh. This is the first game, obviously, as well of Super Rugby, so I think they're keen for this one tonight. And they'll be looking for their 4th try, probably before half time, actually.
Well, that dotted line you can see is the Cardiff Met 10 metre line, so a rare jaunt into the Archers half for Northumbria as the scrum goes backwards, but they do well to get it out quickly and now can come forward through Lucas Titherington. He's swallowed up by a wall of Archers defenders. But can they go through the phases here, Northumbria? George Williams, the front rower, with the carry this time, but they're going backwards. There's Robbie Forbes. A little bit of space out wide, so the dancing feet of Ned Newman at 13. Gets the offload away. This is the first time we've seen any kind of phase play from Northumbria. It looks a little bit sharper as well. Titherington gets through the first tackle and is brought down on the 22. Good work from Lucas Titherington. Callum Burke goes in upright. Gets slowed right down. It's Robbie Forbes waits, but they got up the blind side instead. Joe Lashley for Northumbria. They've got the advantage coming too. And they go quickly through Laidler.
It's good tempo from Northumbria. I like what they're playing for.
Yeah,
they know
much
they've
better.
25-0 down, but they want to play as well. They haven't come here for nothing.
Oh, a little chip over the top from Robbie Forbes. What a take by Bingo Ivanisevic. Well, I think for Northumbria now, they've got to think try scoring bonus point first and foremost. We've conceded 3 tries. Penalties are no good for us. Let's try and get something from this game.
Yeah, they should be looking for tries now, just to catch up with that 25-point marker. And yeah, they go for the line. It's quite a poor kick though. It's quite rushed, I think.
Well, they do have the line out. What, 10 or 12 metres from the Cardiff Met try line, when they'd have been hoping for 5 or 6.
Yeah. Will they go for the driving maul here?
Well, Job one done. Good front ball and good momentum straight from the drive as well. This is the closest they've been.
I think Met turned this round. Yeah,
straight away, Oscar Yandel's on the afterburners as Cardiff Met turn the ball over. Great work from Cardiff Met. And just as it looks like Northumbria are going to start to get something going, the opportunity disappears.
Yeah, I think that was well set up as well, the driving ball, and it made quick ground, but someone forgot the ball behind them and Met pinched it.
Now they need to exit, which is a lot easier to do when your scrum's going forward like that. Aled Ward, scorer of the third try, picks, goes. Makes a few metres up that blind side. Matt Marsh puts the left boot on it. Doesn't make a great touch, but takes Cardiff Met to just outside their 22. 32 minutes on our clock, so plenty of time for Northumbria if they can get some phase play to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you hope they cross over. I mean, they've had quite a blasting in the first half an hour. You hope they get some platform and stabilise themselves into this game now.
It's Harry Hill carrying from 6. Fantini's the first man there. It's Toby Hodges, the captain. Gets tackled low and stopped in his tracks. Here's Fantini. Billy Nichols. Oh, out of the back door. Lovely hands there from Robbie Forbes. Are their hands on now? Great turnover. That's Will Gibson. First man there, gets hands on. Again, just stops Northumbria in their tracks. We were talking beforehand about Yari Fantini's ability at the breakdown, but it's been Will Gibson and the Cardiff Met forwards who've dominated that area. And even in those tight areas, well, they've bitten off a lot with that kick. It's well kept in. But the chase is on, and Northumbria still with work to do here through Oscar Yandel. Great chase from Ivan Izovic, pulls him down in front of his own sticks, 10 metres from the goal line. And they've turned the ball over as well. Chance for the bonus point before half-time for Cardiff Met. Will Gibson gets the bonus point try.
You just feel it's like men against boys out there. They're just smashing the breakdown and just picking up the ball and crossing over for tries for fun at the moment. Northumbria just can't keep hold of the ball.
Well, Will Gibson, 2 huge contributions in the space of a minute. The turnover in his own half to set up that phase of play. Even when the penalty mistouched, they chased the kick. Huge lung-busting effort from Bingo Ivanisevic to make the tackle on Yendel. And then the Archers poured forward, and it was a good, strong finish on the blind side in the end.
I agree, and if you watch back on the replay, and it was just a feel Northumbria players just jogging back, hoping their full-back Oscar Yandel would just clear his lines, but he didn't. He took the contact and nobody was there to regather that possession, and it was there for Met just to pile drive over, pinch the ball, and Max Heathman did well to look up, pass the ball to Will Gibson, and he finished nicely in the corner, carrying about 3 men on his back as well.
Well, that back row really do have the wind in their sails now. Here's Johnston to add the extras. Similar position to the one for the Aled Ward try again. Draws it in beautifully. Wraps the wrists around the 7-iron and makes it Cardiff Met 32, Northumbria 0. And this has been a 35 minutes to forget for Northumbria.
It has. Bonus point in the bag for Met before half-time. Danny Milton will be very, very happy with his boys, and I don't think they want half-time to come. They're just having so much fun out there now.
There's Ivanisevic there for the offload. Hands off Harry Laidler to finish on the front foot. Well, they're queuing up for carries now.
Oh, hands.
We've even got Will Hurd going one-handed over the top, looking for Dempsey on the right-hand side. Goes full David Seaman after it, but can only tip it round the post.
Yeah, the Met are playing with their heads up, looking for offloads, enjoying it now out there, and it's a chance to rack up some points. With the points difference, I'm not sure, I haven't seen the points difference on the league table, but if it's close between teams around them, it's a chance for them to rack up some nice points here tonight.
Well, they're above Hartpury in the league table, despite the fact that Hartpury got the victory today. That moves them up to 35 points. Cardiff Met were on 37 beforehand. They should pick up 5 today, but a big win, 30 points already. That takes them, 40 points ahead of Hartpury in terms of the points difference. Exeter is going to be a different story because they're 65 points behind going in today. Exeter have chucked another 30 on that. But certainly in terms of that race for 4th and 5th, bearing in mind last season Cardiff Met went from 4th to 5th on the last day of the season and therefore conceded that home advantage against Leeds Beckford in the quarterfinals. That is something that they will be very, very aware of as Russell Bennett throws a dummy and tries to put one out of the back door towards the end of the first half, but Northumbria can come away with that one. Can't quite run their way out of their own 22.
That's the last thing Northumbria want, is a scrum deep into their own 22. They think they were looking at each other, hoping someone would have kicked it.
A difficult half-time conversation to be had in that Northumbria changing room. John Benson's got his work cut out. They've got a lot of senior voices though. John Benson's been around a long time. We spoke to Matt Solway earlier, very good player, very good captain. But there's only so much you can do from the sidelines.
You might reconsider pre-match preparations as well, thinking that they did start at 6 AM. Has that been a contributing factor to player fatigue?
Oh, of course. And having to kill a few hours in Cardiff as well. To be fair, it's a great city to kill a few hours in, but so's Newcastle. Harry Johnston attempting the turnover himself there. Northumbria trying to go route one, and that's a risky chip, but if it comes off... Oh, and it has done.
Happy the ref played advantage there. That's well played there from the referee.
Here's Ned Newman. Fair-haired outside centre, drafted in at the last minute today. The rare occasion he has had the ball in hand. He looks like he could be a handful for any defence. An inside ball from Robbie Forbes this time.
Will Gibson's there. I think his turnover. No, he's lost it.
Not this time. He did have hands on it. It was only the knock-on that did it.
Danny Milton might start looking at the bench half-time maybe, just to get these boys a rest, thinking about Exeter next week. I mean, I know it's 32-0, but you might start resting your players like Charles Geary coming on back row and getting Will Rigg a chance on the wing. I'm thinking about maybe playing these boys half on Saturday or maybe next week versus Exeter.
Well, Dav, I'm going to head to the studio and leave you to take us through to half-time.
Brilliant, thanks Dave. So Northumbria are looking for their first point of the game. That's a lovely looping pass to the winger Ollie Smith, who gets clattered by Harry Johnston. The kick's good though. No, it's not. It's gone out on the full. It's gone out on the full, and it'll be a Met line out on the 10. Oh, that was a clattering tackle there on the winger. He'll feel that tomorrow. Harry Sutherland to throw. Meets Will Gibson, who clips it back, and the number 8, Mike Hoyt, collects. Can Northumbria finish the half on a high? Can they get their first points of the game? Just outside the Met 22 at the moment. We have the penalty. Tom Pearson's stopped Northumbria taking the quick tap there, so that's another 10 yards. They take it to the corner. The fullback Oscar Yandel making sure it finds touch. But as I mentioned earlier, point difference is vital at the end of the season with 5 rounds to go, Super Rugby. So Met will be hoping to keep Northumbria on the fat 0. They take it through the driving ball, and it looks good. It's powering forward. Have they crossed the line? The referee says they have. Cardiff Met 35, Northumbria 5. Apologies, Cardiff Met 32, Northumbria 5. Northumbria have scored, and I'm glad for them. They've been under pressure throughout this half, deep in their own half for majority of this game. Will the conversion be successful? And I think every point is vital now for Northumbria. This kick is big for them. They'll be thinking of grabbing that losing bonus point. They'll be thinking of the win, obviously, but it's quite unrealistic at the moment. Oh, it's good connection. But the ref says no. Half time here. Cardiff Met 32, Northumbria 5. And I'll pass you over back to Dave Rogers in the studio.
2 points to 5, a bonus point already in the bag for the home team, and a real mountain to climb for Northumbria. But a slight change of angle here. Tim, very warm welcome.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
This has not been the only Cardiff Met versus Northumbria game today, because you've been at the Arms Park.
Yeah, I went down to the Arms Park earlier. The women's teams played against each other, and it must have been an amazing experience for both teams. And Cardiff Met snuck a win at the end.
What was the score?
It was 27-19.
So big win for them, and obviously a massive occasion for any player to step out on the hallowed turf, or AstroTurf as it is at the Arms Park. And we've been lucky with BUCS Super Rugby to have some great games there, particularly between Cardiff Met and Cardiff University. But what was the general feeling around the match today from start to finish? It must have felt like a huge occasion.
Yeah, everyone was buzzing, even the fans that were there. Both sets of players were out there early, just loving the sort of environment they were in. And especially for a spectator point of view, it's always good to see that people who don't normally get the chance to get onto the big stage and play on one of the grounds they've probably visited as a fan quite a few times.
In terms of the match itself, great win for Cardiff Met. Northumbria have kind of had eyes on getting to the next level for quite some time. The women's game, they've got a national league similar to BUCS Super Rugby for the first time this year. The last couple of finals at Twickenham have been absolutely stunning, and I think it's just more evidence that the women's game, not just in terms of the Tyrrell's Premier 15 over in England, but at university level as well, it's going from strength to strength.
Yeah, exactly, and it's sort of like bringing the best players to like the uni environment as well. I know Cardiff Met had a few girls who played in the Tyrrells not playing, who were playing in the Six Nations not playing again, so So and seeing new players come over from other places. So one girl called Kiki, number 8, big ball carrier of Cardiff Met, former American football player. Yeah, she came over and she was a bit of a ball carrier from Met.
So she was the standout and she stole the show.
Yeah, she did a little bit heavy ball carrier. I wouldn't want her running down my channel, that's for sure.
So she's the one to look out for, Kiki of Cardiff Met. And speaking to the players, have they got kind of ambitions to maybe go all the way this year, or?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're having fun in camp. They're got a new head coach just come in recently, so it definitely seems like changed things up a little bit, and they're definitely looking like they're stepping forward from that sort of bit of momentum.
Good to see you, mate.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
You go somewhere and keep warm.
Sure,
enjoy the second half. I'm going to take that one off you, and I'm going to bring in James. Welcome, mate. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
You're all well dressed up. It's a shame we've only got the top parts of our body, because he has definitely ironed his trousers so he can be on television this evening. Now, you've got a very important role within the club. Tell everybody what your role within Cardiff Met RFC is.
Yeah, so I'm just helping out with the social media, so running that. So we have a Twitter account, we have a Facebook page, we also have an Instagram page which has been really successful in the past couple of seasons, gaining a lot of following through that as well. And it's not just a way to give supporters updates on the games itself, it's more about advertising the uni as well, so making sure that the club gets the recognition it deserves, for competing at the level that it does, because we're just so privileged to have access to the facilities that we have, and we're trying to encourage like a really high quality of player to come through. Like we've got Ellis Bevan, who's just heading off with Wales under 20s now, and obviously we've got our two main big alumni at the moment. So we've got Luke Northmore and Alex Donbrandt down at Quins, and then we've also got Aaron Wainwright, who's moved locally over to Newport Dragons. They're all doing amazingly well. It's just a great advert for the sport here at Cardiff Met.
I'm going to come in with a full BUCS Super Rugby plug there, because you named those superstars that have gone from Cardiff Met, but it's 3 seasons old now, BSR, and there is a 1 to 23 of lads playing professional rugby, and it's an amazing product. But in terms of the club itself, I take a look around. We've got full stands of supporters, most of them in club ties. You put 8, 9, 10 teams out every week. Must be an amazing club to be a part of.
I mean, it's just a fantastic honour. Everyone across the club is very proud to put on the shirt every time they run out for a game. So today, for example, we have 5 teams run out across all BUCS competitions, which is just fantastic. Usually we can get a maximum of 6 teams out, and then we have 4 teams sometimes that run out on a weekend. So it's an amazing feat to be doing for a university club, and it's amazing that we can accommodate nearly 200 players every single week.
Imagine having to make the decisions to pick the teams. How many front rowers exist in South Wales? All right, then give it a plug. The people watching at home, we've got people tuning in on the BUCS YouTube, we've got RFU TV, we've got WRU as well. How can they follow Cardiff Met from top to bottom all through the club?
Well, just follow us at Archers_RFC on the Instagram, and then we do at Cardiff Met RFC on Twitter, and then if you just search on Facebook Cardiff Met Rugby Club, it'll come up on our Facebook page and you can follow all the action.
You're not in charge of the Archers Ultras, are you?
No, don't worry about that one.
Keep away from them. Mate, absolute pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to get on, I'm going to get back to the commentary position for the second half. It's Cardiff Met 32, Northumbria 7 here in round 13 of BUCS Super Rugby.
So we're back for the second half. Cardiff Met attacking from left to right, and then Northumbria attacking from right to left. The score, Cardiff Met 32, and after that late Northumbria try, they're down at 5. So Cardiff Met 32, Northumbria 5. The other results today has been Leeds Beckett 11, Hartpury 24. Shock result there. Hartpury getting the win against Leeds Beckett, the table toppers. But also Exeter beating Swansea at home, 47-17 there. Exeter will be the visitors here at Kincoid campus next week, and of course we will be live streaming the battle at the top of the table there, 3rd v 4th. That's huge for both sides. Russell Bennett clears, and I think there'll be 2 different half-time talks there from both sides. Danny Milton telling the Archers just to keep on going to maintain the pressure, but Northumbria just get some more ball in the right areas. Dave's back with me.
I can see a couple of changes that have been made, particularly for Northumbria. Alex Todd come on, wearing number 20, changing the front row as well. Oscar Cordell's on there, the big number 18. It's our first line out on this side.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Harry Sutherland's hitting his man, and Cardiff Met looking to go to work in the second half. Marsh puts boot to ball, chase coming on from Denty. Yandel deals with it well, doesn't call for the mark, instead runs straight at Denty. who's the first there to make the tackle. Very industrious winger, Brad Denty, works hard. There's Laidler. Boxes that one straight out, but he was just inside the 22, despite the protestations of the Cardiff Met supporters, who have braved the cold this evening. As you alluded to earlier, it is bone dry here. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's a cold breeze, but most importantly, it is dry. Hence the reason we have had some good running rugby in good handling conditions. Well, the referee's given the knock on there, but Cardiff Met a little bit lucky that it wasn't an offside given.
I thought the same. I thought Max Heathman's drop ball was bounced into one of his own players there, but obviously not. I think the ref has a better look on it than me, but yeah, I think mistakes like that are okay when you're 32-5 up, but next week with Exeter in town, those things, you'll get punished for those things. They'll be getting the ball, and if the ref does call penalty there, that's Exeter in your own 22. So I think Danny Milton will just be thinking about those mistakes and trying to polishing them.
Well, I think both teams are going to aim to be incredibly accurate next week.
Yeah, definitely. I think Exeter coming away with a big victory against Swansea, and then Met putting a solid performance in the first half. They'll be happy. There's going to be a big clash next week, live of course with us, Cardiff Met Sport TV.
In terms of Swansea, they currently sit 7th in the BUCS Super Rugby table. They picked up 5 victories in their debut season, by far the most successful team at this stage of the season who've just come up. Cardiff University did very well towards the end of last year, after the difficulties that Nottingham Trent found in their debut season, eventually getting relegated a couple of years later. But they're currently sitting top of Premier North, looking to return to the top flight, the elite level of university rugby. Oh, lovely line, unlucky Mike Hoy makes up for it by wrestling the Cardiff Met man down with his shirt. There's just a little dab over the top, just doesn't quite get the bounce for Denty to chase. Russell Bennett not scared to look for that little kick in the strangest of situations.
No, he's used his boot and some very well, he's created chances from everywhere on the pitch basically, with that right boot, cross kicks to chips.
Oscar Cordell, who's just come on for Northumbria, it's the first time I've seen him at this level. He is absolutely enormous.
Number 18.
Yes.
Yeah. He's very tall for a prop actually. You can see him from this angle. He's towering over the other boys.
But next time you see him upright, just look how broad he is around the back.
I'll have a look.
Scrimmaging against him is not going to be an easy night. Now Cardiff Met coming up the blind side. Here's Aled Ward. Lovely footwork from the number 8. Gets chased down by a Northumbria back row, but makes 4 or 5 metres, and Cardiff Met back on the front foot here.
Brilliant hands there from Bingo. I think Danny Milton must have screamed in his ear at half time, telling him to get that ball out to pass.
And they go quickly. Matt Marsh likes a tap and go. Are Northumbria 10 metres? Yes, says the referee. Happy to let play continue. Putting the big men through this time. And Tom Pearson having a carry from lock forward. Russell Bennett waits. Now has a little look up. Lovely line from Ward. Back inside. Stunning ball from the number 8. And Russell Bennett adds a try to his resume. Fabulous vision from Aled Ward, though. Options right and left. Hit a great line to beat the man.
Yeah, he had Will Hurd on his right and Russell Bennett inside on the left. And he could have chosen any of them. I think any of them would have scored. That takes us up to 37. We'll probably see 50 points scored here by Met tonight.
Really smart inside trailing line from Bennett. 39-5.
There's two brilliant pieces of play there by Aled Ward. He made the initial break from the scrum at the halfway, sidestepping his way through up to the 22, and then being on the receiving pass of the offload just to get it out to Russell Bennett under the posts. Brilliant play. No messing there by Harry Johnson, just catching and clearing. Good exit there by the inside centre.
Yandel looks pretty steady under the high ball, and he's getting quite a lot of heat from the spectators.
He's looked sharp, he's looked good when he's had the chance.
He's Northumbria's top scorer this season, 39 points for him. Lashley trots over. There he is, Caudle, just taking his place now.
No, I can see him.
Man mountain.
He is big, he is big. Little meatball.
Changes for Cardiff Met. Evan Lloyd and Will Rigg coming on. Lloyd wearing 22, Will Rigg wearing 23. Evan Lloyd, a very exciting talent. I wonder if he'll slip in at 10 and Russell will go back to 15. As Northumbria secure the ball and Met attempt to spoil. Titherington on the crash ball, but it's been turned over again. Will Gibson doing great work at the breakdown.
Oh, brilliant offload.
Kicked into space and Harry Laidler has to chase back. Lovely kick. Smart kick, and Cardiff Met go from 122 to the other.
They look exciting when they turn the ball over there in the 22. First initial thought is getting the ball wide and attacking and making the most of that quick turnover ball, and in 30 seconds later they got a line, attacking line now down in the opposition 22.
Well, more subs getting on for Cardiff Met as well. Bailey Marshall Telfer, he covers the back five, he's wearing 19. I think Charles Geert at 20 as well. So that goes loose, and Gibson very close to getting fingertips on that one. So it'll be a very new look backline for Cardiff Met if they do empty the bench here. I wonder which of the back rowers will have a breather.
I don't think none of them want to come off, do they? Probably Max Heathman, I'd imagine, coming on for Geary. I'm wrong, I think it's Will Gibbs.
Well, he certainly earned his rest as Gibson. Very impressive 50 minutes from him. And there'll be no Saturday rugby for the next couple of weeks for the Archers either, what with the Six Nations starting, so the championship gets put on ice.
Yeah, they'll be resting up. They're coming back up to the stands now. I haven't seen so much subs being made by Danny Milton so early on in the game before. It's and some big names as well: Russell Bennett, Harry Johnson, Will Gibbs coming off. Just looking forward for getting some new blood. Probably looking for the future as well. Getting some game time for some new players, fairly new players, with Evan Lloyd and Bailey Marshall Telfer coming on. It's great game time for them. They'll be looking forward to coming on.
Well, they've missed touch with the penalty. Criminal, really. Yeah, so here's Brad Denty running at a broken field. Gets over the gain line through the centres, and they've got the penalty advantage coming as well.
Brilliant pass.
Ivan Izovic puts the footwork on. So it is Evan Lloyd in at 10. And Sutherland, Ivan Izovic jumps and steps, doesn't find Rigg, who was outside him. Evan Lloyd waits. Short ball from Lloyd. Oh, a little kick over the top here, looking for Denty. Finds Denty, but good cover tackle, or was it? Going back for the advantage. I'm not sure if that might have been a high tackle from Chidera Abona. I'm just looking at the body language of Chidera Abona. He's wearing number 14, but he's on the left wing for Northumbria, and he just does not look a happy man.
Talking about big men, I think number 18 for Cardiff Met, Isaac Thompson, is coming on, and I think he'll be mash to mash now with Oscar Codal.
Some big old boys in the front row. If you're just tuning in, this is round 13 of BUCS Super Rugby live from King Coyd. This broadcast being brought to you by BUCS in association with Cardiff Met University. It's Cardiff Met versus Exeter next week. Top half of the table clash. Make sure you tune into that. It's the Archers back into Northumbria 22, but the visitors a little bit sharper at the breakdown this time and have managed to turn that one over, or have they? No, it's come back Cardiff Met's way. And they can reset, chasing down a second try of the half, a sixth try of the match. First carry there for Charlie Geert. Here's Nurse. Little chip over the top. Denty pins back the ears, dots the ball down, but just has a foot in touch. Great cover tackle to keep the score at 39 points to 5.
Yeah, I think that was a bone out with the tackle, wasn't it? Yeah, good tidying up with him, and he's having a word with Andrew Mull there. He's not happy about something, as you mentioned earlier.
To Lashley, tough line out for him here, and that's been spoiled. A lovely pick up off the toes by Matt Marsh as well. That came down at him very sharply indeed, and that's been turned over by Northumbria. Still trying to run their way out. It's through Lashley with the carry. He's the man who missed his jumper. 15 minutes of the second half gone. Cardiff Met with a bonus point in the bag. Nurse. Turn of pace from Nurse. Oh, gets straight through Titherington. And eventually the ball goes forward. Oh, but Denty's through. Oh, beautiful offload. And Harry Sutherland dots down.
That was brilliant by Nurse.
Well, it looked like the move had broken down.
Yeah, it did look like it. Yeah, it did look like it went forward there, but Billy Marshall-Talbot picked up nicely. Brad Denty was on the shoulder, but then the reliable Harry Sutherland dotting down, trying to catch up with his other hooker, Corey Lewis.
Something about hookers in BUCS Super Rugby. They score a lot of tries.
Yeah, the last round before Christmas, Cardiff Met versus Bath, Corey Lewis dotted down a hat-trick here at King Coyd.
I've commentated on a game at Bath where both hookers have scored hat-tricks.
That must be a record.
Speaking of Bath, Tom Doughty, the first man to reach 20 tries in BUCS Super Rugby. Oh, beautiful kick. It's such a lovely draw. Honestly, I wish I could hit a golf ball like that. So Evan Lloyd has drawn that one in, opened his account for the match. Yeah, Tom Doughty got himself on the bench for Bath first team. Wish him all the very best as he goes into the professional ranks. Cardiff Met 46, Northumbria 5. And that's gone straight out.
Things are going bad for worse here for them. They just error after error, unfortunately. You've got to feel sorry for them.
One of those nights for Northumbria. They will remain bottom of the table after this evening. They're down there on the same number of wins and losses as Cardiff and Bath. They've still got those teams to play.
So you talk about points. 51 points have been scored in this game so far. I think what's the average? 60?
63.
Yeah, 63. So we might clock that at the end of the game.
Look at this scrum going forward again. Here's the advantage.
They'll be looking to play this. Matt Marsh has come off for Dylan Morgan.
And the latest score in Loughborough versus Bath. Loughborough 14-0 up. Despite the fact they're separated by quite a long way geography-wise, that's quite the rivalry, Loughborough University versus Bath.
That's the no, that's not the varsity. I think it's Exeter, isn't it? Loughborough Exeter. No.
It's changed over the years. It used to be Loughborough and Bath, then it was Loughborough and Durham. I think being marooned there in the East Midlands, they don't really have a local varsity, Loughborough. But it's amazing the occasions. I mean, huge credit to Cardiff University and Swansea University. They put on a heck of an event for their rugby varsity. The Nottingham varsity is huge as well. We were speaking to Matt Solway beforehand. The Northumbria and Newcastle doesn't happen anymore, but they played that at St James's Park a few years ago, and it was a massive game. As Cardiff Met come forward again, pouring forward. In fact, Bingo Ivanisevic hitting the hole and getting away from the tackle. It's taken 2 or 3 to drag him down in the end. Deceptively strong ball carrier. Hurd goes forward this time as we approach the last quarter of the game. Cardiff Met chasing their 7th try, and they're 2 metres short. Now some width to work with. Lovely footwork from Nurse. Puts the dab for the corner. The chase is on, well swept up, but the advantage was coming. And it seems like a matter of time before Cardiff Met make 50 points. Here's Heathman, thought about going quickly. It's been another big shift for Heathman. Zev and Lloyd dabs for the corner.
Yeah, the boys on the bench here are shouting scrum, scrum, scrum. They know how dominant that's been throughout the game, and but no, they chose to go to the line out, and they'll probably push him over. They'll try to push him over, sorry, to make it 51.
Yeah, 8 or 9 metres is a long way to push a scrum out from, but job one done. They find the middle jumper. And now Harry Sutherland is in the driving seat to the back, looking for his 2nd try. Dylan Morgan finds Will Rigg on the short ball. Doesn't attack it with any pace though. Plenty of Northumbria bodies there, slowing the ball down. In fact, turning the ball over. As we approach the last 20 minutes, look for a second like that ball had been dropped 2 metres out.
I think that's probably one of the first or second time Northumbria have managed to turn the ball over in the red zone. That's a feather in their cap. So well done them for keeping them out there, but Met come again.
Good take from Denty, and here's Nurse thinking about having a little go himself, and he does. Back to Denty. Heathman's there. Just forward on the offload. In fact, I'm not sure that went forward at all. I think it was off a black hand. Zach Thompson's on wearing number 23 for Northumbria. Clean white long sleeves under the black shirt. Won't stay clean for long. There look to be a few bald patches on the pitch here at Kincoid, but pitch playing really well. Always plays better than it looks, the pitch here at Cardiff Met. Another advantage coming. Tom Broadhead, the replacement scrum half, on for Northumbria. And finally we do come back for the advantage. Or for the penalty, should I say.
Try and make touch now. They've missed a few kicks when they've had penalties, so fly off, just captain needs a quiet word with him and just tell him, find touch. If it's 10, 15, 20 yards, just make touch. There we go.
Robbie Forbes duly obliges. Went to college with Tim Fenny, you know.
Yes, he did. And I think he's doing a Masters next year, I think, Tim told me, in Durham. So he might be wearing a different kit next year in Super Rugby.
Wow, really. We do find that though, the players do make their way across. Jared Leet, who was a front rower at Loughborough for a few years, he's in the purple of Leeds Beckett now, sitting pretty at the top of the league. That's an overthrow and a well-timed pass from Aled Ward. Was always looking for that pass, knew the man would be on his outside, but concedes the penalty.
Eduardo Bolocco was another player.
Yes,
he was in Met for 3 years and I was in Bath.
He scored a brilliant try against Cardiff University at the Alms Park last year, didn't he? Galloped over.
Yeah, he did. Down the wing.
But playing very well for Bath too. We covered their games at the start of the season, one against Durham and one at the Rec as well, where they destroyed Cardiff University, and Eduardo was, well, stoking the fire in the engine room, put it that way. Very accomplished second rower. Now, chance here for Northumbria. Angus Campbell in the scrum cap, the replacement hooker. Here we go. Very similar position to the one they scored their first and only try of the match in. They're closing in here, Northumbria. Cardiff Met with some defending to do. Andrew Moole, the referee, in a good position. He's hard to miss in that yellow jersey. As Northumbria set and go again. Closing in on that try line. Patience now. If they do get a try here, they've got 16 minutes or so to get another 2 and come away with at least a bonus point.
Crossing. Oh, it's so frustrating for them. You feel for them. Met tried to go quick there, but they were tackled within 10 metres. I think Aled Ward tried to go quickly from 5 metres. Clear their lines.
If they'd have managed to get a score there, they'd have probably been confident of throwing the kitchen sink, maybe conceding a couple themselves, but at least leaving with a valuable point. As it stands, they're going to be leaving empty-handed and rooted to the table on 10 points. Cardiff Met will move up to 42. Still 6 points behind Exeter, but you get the victory next week and anything's possible. That really is a big game next week in the grand scheme of things.
It is, yeah.
Oh, lovely line. Great strength as well, into the 22. Does he fancy it all the way here? Brad Denty coming off his wing, looking for work, getting the offload away to Lloyd, who goes out of the back door, and Ollie Andrews can't quite get hold of it. Cardiff Met Barbarians.
Yeah, I don't think number 18 there, Oliver Andrews, came in flying in but forgot the ball on his way as well. That was a charging run.
Lovely work from Brad Denty though, picking the ball up in midfield. Busting through the first tackle, then having the pace and wherewithal to get into the 22 and still get the pass away. Broadhead and Morgan, the two replacement scrum halves. As Met get the shove on again, that spilled out the side. And thought for a second that Morgan was going to get hands on that. Zach Thompson stealing a couple of metres there. Both of the benches having a good run out for the last quarter of this one.
They're playing rugby in the wrong part of the field, aren't they, Northumbria? And they will clear it now, but went through a few phases there, just in their own 22.
And again, they box clear. 46-5, bit of a quieter second half. No scores for Northumbria, a couple of tries for Cardiff Met. But when you bring on the replacements, it always kind of messes with the momentum of the game.
Yeah, new faces, new legs, but still look keen, they still look threatening. Will Rig there, carrying strong.
Andrew Nurse with a one-handed pick-up there. Here's Ivanisevic. Just takes the contact. Albona, the man making the tackle. Isaac Thompson. Big carry from the big man. Presents good quick ball as Evan Lloyd again looks to try and make something happen sideways. He's one of those 10s that looks busy when they're on the ball.
There's mistakes creeping in for both sides now, a few penalties in the last 5 minutes.
Thompson, dummy and go. Oh, held the man up here. Great strength there from Langton Cryer. Even the Archers supporters seem like they're running out of steam now. There's Angus Campbell. Oh, a little bit of volleyball from Robbie Forbes. More like a setter than a standoff, but that one's gone forward.
Yeah, it's flat out there now. The last few minutes have just been a feel of a training session vibe. They're just going through their moves, drills, and defensive. Well, it's not even defensive attack. They're just it's quite flat.
Well, I don't think we're going to do an official man of the match, but let's look down both sides. And who's impressed you this evening, Dave?
I think Russell Bennett has played well when he was on the pitch. A few of his kicks are amazing, a few cross kicks early on in the game, finding hands and just making sure that Northumbria were defending wide enough to cover those wingers, but also the pack. I think the back row are exceptional. Will Gibson with a few turnovers. Aled Ward has been ever present, carrying, offloading, always there. Also, well, the front row with the scrum. I mean, you could choose a few, but for Northumbria, I think Oscar Yandel, he's covered his lines very well. I mean, if they kick behind, he's always been there, running out trouble. He's been quite consistent tonight. What about you, Dave?
Well, for Northumbria, I'd love to see these two centres, Titherington and Newman, on front foot ball. They've been feeding off scraps all day, but they look like they've got something about them. They've always got quality in the backs, Northumbria, but you could have the best back line in the world, but if you cannot get any ball, which is something they've really struggled with, particularly in this part of the game here. I know we've got a lot of changes in the scrum now, but in that first half where both teams had their first choice 8s on. But just looking at the injuries for Northumbria, you know, you've got Harry Boyd out tonight. He's scored 3 tries this season. Josh Rudling, the man with the big afro for those fans of BUCS Super Rugby. I mean, he's rapid and he's always a try threat. He's out again. Jasper Maguire, Johnny Ashman. These are all boys. I mean, just those 4 players there, I think they've got, if you add up all their tries, you're in double figures for the season. And just like that, Tav comes out, Matt comes in. Matt, I know it's... oh, here we go. Oh, they've gone quickly on that. I thought Aled Ward was going to go quickly. Just as you've arrived, a little bit of controversy around the side. Difficult to say with 10 minutes to go, but... bonus point in the bag, possibly 50 points. Seems like a job well done tonight.
Yeah, I think we're really happy with our performance. We've had a bit of time off. Obviously, we finished late December, and we've had almost like a mini pre-season, sort of 3 weeks of hard training in the gym and lots of sessions outside. So we're really happy with our performance and sort of looking now into a big week for the Exeter game.
How long? So Danny Milton made a point of saying how well rested you were. How long is a rest before it starts to get frustrating and you just want to get back out there on the pitch?
Yeah, I think we're lucky because we play in the Welsh Championship. So we've had some time out on the field, but I think some boys have enjoyed a bit of time off to condition hard, and we've all been raring to go and go flat out like we have today.
And a good opportunity for some of these boys off the bench to have a good 20-25 minutes at it here and try and put some pressure on you boys in the starting 15.
Yeah, massively. It's a full squad effort, and we've got boys that are pushing us on a Saturday, and also the guys on the bench. So it's really good for these guys to get, as you say, 20-25 minutes to sort of put their self on for the starting lineup.
Your back row have been immense today, and you seem to have a real balance there across the three as we've got another chance to attack out of the 22. When there's that kind of work rate going on, does it make it easy for the backs to really express themselves?
Yeah, I think the boys work really hard, and as a 9 it sort of makes my life a lot easier. Sort of big Alan Wood at number 8, he does a massive job for me. So yeah, as you say, they work really hard, and we're real happy with how things have gone today.
Captaining the side, I mean, you've got to get tonight out of the way, but surely you're looking at those fixtures like Exeter. Sorry, just thought we might have a real incident in mid-air there as Northumbria back in possession. This has been a rarity for them. Have they got the opportunity to get themselves into double figures now as Zach Thompson comes forward? Here's a Bona. Pretty much the first time we've seen him ball in hand. Looking at the league table, there are no foregone conclusions in BUCS Super Rugby as there's another turnover. There's that Marshall Telfer this time as Nurse goes forward. Were you going in tonight with one eye on Exeter next week, or is it always one game at a time?
We look to take one game as it comes, but obviously, we're always realistic with what's to come, and it's a huge game next week against Exeter for us. So we focus one game a week, but obviously we've got one eye on who's up next. Obviously,
little tip on there to Andrews. Cardiff Met back into the 22 at the blind side. Here's Will Rigg, one of those players to keep an eye on. Evan Lloyd, number 22, another. I will leave you go, Matt, because you've got some boys to celebrate with come full time.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck next
Cheers.
week against Exeter. Enjoy tonight, but make sure you behave yourself. Cheers, Matt. First team captain there, Matt Marsh, on a job well done. We welcome you back, Dav, as Cardiff Met just knocked that one on.
Speaks well, doesn't he, Matt?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, always got good answers.
And there's Nurse going quickly. Oh, that's high, surely high, yes. And that's going to be a yellow card as well. Oscar Caudle sent to the bin for the high tackle.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight they've lost in the pack there. one of the big men we pointed out earlier.
Well, they lose a front rower, and from the penalty, Cardiff Met go for the scrum. And when you've got somebody like Andrew Nurse, light on his feet, spots the mismatch, I mean, Caudle's just going to throw an arm out, and the way the game is now, player safety's paramount. If you put out an arm, you go high, that lazy arm, then you're going to be punished.
Yeah, exactly. But Met will be looking for that 50-point marker. It's just nice, isn't it, psychologically, getting that another 50 points under their belt before the big name, and sending a message out to Exeter as well.
Of course. Well, they scored 47 against Swansea earlier today. Cardiff Met with 46 so far here against Northumbria. The most points Cardiff Met have ever scored against Northumbria in the BUCS Super Rugby era, 58. Incidentally, Northumbria have also put 57 on Cardiff Met the following year. That, honestly, it was like watching the Red Arrows that season. Northumbria were a stunning team.
Yeah, dominant.
So Billy Nichols returns to the fray so Northumbria can have a complete front row. Beautiful crescent moon, and it is a crystal clear sky, hence the reason it is absolutely freezing here at King Coyd.
It is cold, especially up here in the stands. You're a bit higher up, so the wind catches you a bit more.
What you can't see at home is Dav's hat. What's the official name for that?
I don't know, I call it like my Russian hat. Do you know they wear those furry
stuff? It is, yeah, very Russian. If you turned it inside out, you'd look like a golden retriever. Anyway, here come Cardiff Met, looking for the 50-point try. Aled Ward for his second, and he gets it. Great footwork at the base of the scrum and crashes over under the sticks. That's the 50 up for the Archers. And compounds the misery of Northumbria.
Yeah, another try. Quite straightforward. Pick and go there from Aled Ward that he's so used to doing. But instead of passing it out to his scrum half, he just plunged over under the posts, and there should be another 2 points as well for Evan Lloyd.
So 53-5, that's a 48-point advantage, which makes it officially Cardiff Met's highest ever winning margin against Northumbria. 58-16 back in 2016, that was a 42-pointer. But we're still, oh no, what's that? So 58 points, we're still 5 behind the average score for the match, but usually they're a little bit closer than this. Incidentally, only 2 out of the 6 have been decided by 1 score. There was 32-31 in November 2016, and then 28-24 to Northumbria at Kingston Park last season. And Cardiff Met not done yet. Oh, that one just going forward. Off a Met player.
Yeah, for Northumbria, they'll probably be thinking it's too much of an ask now to get back with this scoreline, but they have Bath next week, Bath home, and they beat Bath away early on in the season. That's one of their only 2 victories this season, so I think they'll be looking forward for that game and genuinely really targeting it, because they got that W down in the Rec against Bath. They will be hoping to turn them over at home as well.
Well, that's a massive game, because they're both down at the bottom of the table. They both won 2 and lost 10 games, or lost 11 games now in Northumbria's sense. Just checking the score up at Loughborough, 19-0 at half-time, Loughborough leading, so they seem to have turned the corner form-wise. It's going to be a big ask for them to get into the top 4, but they'll certainly make the playoffs this year, which they failed to do last year, which is incredible for a Loughborough team, really.
But if Northumbria beat Bath next week, that closes the gap.
Yes.
Very big gap, actually.
Well, there's a minute or so left on the clock, Dab. I'm going to let you see this one through to full time. I'm going to return to the studio and hopefully get some full-time interviews.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dave. So Northumbria scrum, will they get the final word of this game? It's a strong scrum there by Met, and Max Heathman passes it to Aled Ward, who gives it to Bingo Ivancic, who kicks down. Can they recollect this? It's gone through the legs of someone and out. I swear that went forward there by Heathman to Aled Ward. Andrew Mull, the referee, didn't spot it. Andrew Mull, by the way, an ex-WRU youth board member, one of 15 that sat on a youth board between the age of 16 and 25, who discussed various topics from rugby, from drug use to player contribution and participation. And I think I've had confirmation that our man of the match tonight is Will Gibson, the co-captain, the vice-captain. Turning ball over and being involved, scoring himself in the first half. Very dominant performance by him. So congratulations, Will. Game sizzling out here. I think Met have put a statement on. Northumbria has a very long drive back up north, and they'll just be looking forward to get back into the changing rooms, put some warm clothes on and forgetting about this game as soon as possible. Met, on the other hand, they'll be happy. They'll be very happy. Danny Milton will be full of praises, but they'll have Exeter on their minds now. I think a lot of the players are starting to think about next Wednesday. Big one, Cardiff Met versus Exeter. Oh, and his ball's popped out, and it's another try. It's the substitute scrum half, Dylan Morgan, diving over a scrap ball from the scrum and scoring his try. First try of the match. But again, it's too easy for Cardiff Met, men against boys. The scrum was dominant there. The substitutes, Harry Sutherland, Oliver Andrews, Isaac Thompson, putting the pressure on, pushing the other pack backwards. Because of the 14 yellow card, there was one man less in the pack for them, and the Met boys are high-fiving each other. They know they've won. It's 58-5 here for Cardiff Met. Can Evan Lloyd add the 2 points to make it the record win of the season? At the moment, it's the record win for Cardiff Met is against Swansea home, 60-10 that was, but this would beat that, making it 60-5. No, he doesn't slot it. Final score here, Cardiff Met 58, Northumbria 5. Well-rounded performance by Cardiff Met. The players will be happy, the coaches will be happy. Northumbria, not so. They have Bath next, a bottom of a table clash. Big for them, they beat them away. They'll be looking for a big week's training before facing them. Join us next week for Cardiff Met. This is Exeter, here live on Cardiff Met Sport TV next week. Dav Dig on the comms. I'll pass you over back to Dave Rog. Thank you.
58 points to 5. Thank you very much, Dav. That scoreline tells a story. What do you learn from a game like that, Danny Milton?
It's an important one for us because the group of guys who've gone out today in the starting jerseys have had a bit of time off, so they've been on a conditioning block, so we're always going to be a bit rusty at times, but it was an important hit out for us before what's going to be a mammoth game against Exeter next week.
Well, we'll move on to that Exeter game. Get it in your diaries. We'll be bringing you that one live from King Coyd. Really important for you to get in the top 4 this year because you missed out. You went from 4th to 5th on the last game of the season. Going into those playoffs, you want to be at home.
100%. I think that's a massive goal for a lot of the teams in BUCS Super Rugby, and those home quarter-finals, those home semi-finals are a really big advantage come the knockouts.
Well, let's talk about tonight then, because Northumbria, I think they'll be incredibly disappointed. It's always going to be a tough season for them, a big change at director of rugby, a lot of new faces. But that works for the Archers too, because you don't know what to expect. First thing you want is a good scrum, a good platform, and you've got that. The forwards are exceptional this evening.
Yeah, and it's a job well done, and to put 50 points on the board against any BUCS Super Rugby team's an achievement, and we're really pleased with that tonight. And Northumbria have had a bit of a tough time, but it's going to be close at the bottom end of the table too, and they only need to pick up a couple of wins. If you think their last game against Leeds Beckett was a tight game, and I'm sure they'll go back, regroup, and they'll get some good performances in later in the year.
Well, speaking of Leeds Beckett, they fell to Hartpury today. Are Hartpury going to do that thing again where they're terrible for the first part of the season and then come good?
Well, that's the interesting thing. If we were to remain sort of in 4th place, you could have a home quarter-final against Hartpury in the knockouts, and that's going to be a tough fixture. So these games are all very important and very meaningful for that final table. No, I don't want to move on to Exeter yet. I still want to give some praise to the players out there. Thought the back row were absolutely exceptional. Yeah, the back row, someone like Aled Ward now, who's a real stalwart, last year's captain, he's playing well week in, week out, and Will Gibson, we know what he's like. He's just a bottle of pop, turning the ball over left, right and centre, and he does that week in, week out. I think probably special mention to Max Heathman, probably not considered one of your most fashionable players, but to see his development over the last couple of years and to see him out there tonight, I was really pleased. A
good early try for Bingo Ivanisevic as well. He's really grabbing onto that number 13 jersey for you.
Yeah, we've talked about having those little players with a little bit of X factor, and I think Bingo's got to look at his maybe that offloading and that ability to pass as well, but he's definitely a threat with the ball in hand, and he's a really great addition to the club.
Let's look forward to Exeter then. They've got a great victory today. They put 40 odd points on Swansea, and when they get it right, they are a very, very difficult team to beat this year.
We're under no illusions. We get it, and we know what they're going to bring next week, and it's down to us to make sure that we bring more of the same, but I think you're going to have to go an extra couple of gears to match that exercise.
When the first half goes so well and you nail that bonus point and everyone's playing well, what do you say at half time to sort of keep the team motivated?
I think it's important to realise that this is about us, and it's about us and the journey that we're on this year, and not letting our standards slip. One of the issues today for me was penalties, and that's happened again second half, and that's something we're going to have to put right for next week.
Well, we've just had the celebrations behind us. It was another great night for the Archers supporters as well. Same next week?
Let's hope so.
Well, Danny, thank you very, very much indeed. We are going to have a little bit of a look at exactly what Cardiff Met RFC is all about. I don't think anyone will dispute that they are the best supported club in all of BUCS Super Rugby. We heard earlier on that they can put 5 or 6 teams out every Wednesday, and they are all behind this first team effort. So after putting 58 points, a record 58 points on Northumbria, it is going to be a fantastic night in the capital of Wales. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you were watching. We're going to be back with more BUCS Super Rugby live from King Coed campus next week. It is 4th versus 3rd, Cardiff Met versus Exeter, and we look forward to you joining us there.
And so as the season changes, playoffs are on the horizon. Preparations are a bit more thorough, the chants are louder, and every point that is scored is worth more. King Coed campus, Rugby 1, is not our stadium. This is our home, offering its protection, its shelter, but always a different challenge. The challenge this time? Exeter, 3rd v 4th, playoff decider. The stage is set for the chosen few who choose to stand and fight. The crowds? No. This is our family. They don't watch it, they feel it. The jerseys? It's our skin. And after every hit and tackle, each player knows they'll suffer. But the reward is much greater because you'll always